Welcome to another interview by Project Cargo Weekly. And today's guest is Mr. Marin Skufca, who is the CEO and partner of Liburnia Maritime in Croatia. Welcome, Marin.
Thank you, Bo. Thank you, Bo.
And as with all other interviews, I normally give the accused, so to speak, a chance to introduce himself. So, Marin, tell us how you got into shipping in the first place and how you ended up running a company called Liburnia in Croatia.
Yeah, it's a very nice story for me. I'm in shipping since 2004, when I joined Liburnia straight from University of Maritime Studies, which I finished, and basically I did very well final thesis, and the professor suggested me to contact Danko, Captain Danko, who is today my partner. He started Liburnia only 1 month prior to that final thesis that I had. And as I stepped out from university, I called him, and we met the same day, and the next day I started working. It was before the summer. He had several candidates that wanted to have free summer, and I said, I don't need that. And from the first day, I was the first employee, and from the first day we were very busy for 2 years. We were the the only two working in the company, and I was working as a boarding agent, as a water clerk. And Liburnia from the very first day has the focus on project cargos and heavy lifts. So for years I was attending a lot of loading, discharging operations. I was on board of all the heavy lift ships that we had, and we work with all the ship owners in the world. So I started gathering a very nice experience from the first day, being on board of the vessel, seeing how the operations are being done, and yeah. Then after several years, I wanted to try commercial part of the business, so I started doing chartering, and since 2008 I'm involved in 2007 I'm involved in heavy lift chartering, which is Liburnia's core activity today.
Mm-hmm. So tell me, and also for our viewers and readers' benefit, heavy lift chartering, that means that in a way, since you are an independent chartering company, you are not, let's say, married to any specific carrier. You are the window to a variety of carriers. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Basically, for our clients, we always have to choose the best option, and then we choose between the carriers that are in the position to take our cargoes that we control.
Okay. You are located in Croatia. As you know, it was, as you know better than anyone, it was, of course, former Yugoslavia. Tell us a little bit about the ports there. You mentioned you had a lot of experience of breakbulk cargo in ports. What ports are available in the region where you are, and which ones are the main ones used for heavy lift business?
Okay, Liburnia's, our home port is Port of Rijeka. We are based in Rijeka, but we don't have, we don't have the luxury to prefer any port. We just have to choose the best routing also for the cargo. So when it comes to the cargos which are coming from so-called Balkan area, we normally choose either Adriatic ports, which are Koper, Rijeka, Ploče, or Split, or sometimes we take the cargo by Danube, either to the continent ports or to Constanța, Burgas. So Constanța in Romania, Burgas, Bulgaria, etc.
Okay. That's very interesting. Just very interesting, because just yesterday I had a meeting south of Stockholm with a company interested in moving cargo on the European waterways. So that's something you could do, for example, fixing business from Rotterdam, Antwerp down to Central Europe, or vice versa. You can handle that.
That's what we regularly do. Yes.
Okay.
That's what we regularly do.
Tell me a bit about the Organization of Libernia, your headcount. I also understand that you recently went into a cooperation agreement with Comarc, who do trucking. It
Yes.
seems to me that you do the whole package. Can you elaborate a bit on that?
Yes. So aside of Liburnia in Croatia, we 2 years ago we opened also Liburnia Projects and Chartering in Netherlands, which is running very well, and it's also on the worldwide scale, chartering the cargos for many international clients. Last year we entered into partnership with Comarc. We are 50% owners of Comarc Croatia, and one of the main reasons was to be able to give the client the best support and turnkey solution for all their cargos. So we are today able, and we are doing turnkey projects on daily basis. Comarc is our partner when it comes to the road transport and when it comes to the packaging. Today, if you want to exist on the client and if you want to keep your position, you need to give the added value to the client. Copy-paste companies will not be able to survive. So by doing all these things with Comarc, we really focus on added value service for our clients.
Okay. Yeah, it's nowadays it's certainly become difficult to offer services. People say they can do everything, and it turns out that they cannot. But it seems to me that you are making sure that you have quality in whatever you do, and your name, as far as I can hear from the market, seems to be good. It is not in a chartering world, for our viewers and listeners here. In a chartering world, your physical location doesn't matter. You can be in Mongolia, for example, and still do chartering as long as you have the connections, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. I mean, we do a lot of cross-trade business, and many of our cargos are not even connected to the region where we are sitting.
Could you give me a couple of examples? Just throw out a few examples of, let's say, cargos that has nothing to do with Croatia, so people understand that you are a global player.
This year we performed a very big contract for a US client, locomotives from US East Coast port to Gabon. It was a very nice project. 16 locomotives altogether. Then also for international client, we moved pusher tugs from Colombia to Uruguay, for example.
Oh.
We are just now performing a business from Constanza to Haifa, so you name it.
That's fantastic. And in an online world, basically you live in paradise already. I know the nature and the weather there in Croatia, so it's not a bad place you have chosen to do your global business, I think.
What I have to underline, when we say that we are on different side of the world and we are performing some business which are on another side, we don't only do the contractual part. We also travel sometimes with our cargos. So okay. Liburnia has put a lot of focus on technical side, and we have 2 surveyors employed in the company, which are basically preparing all the technical plans. We are constantly in touch with technical departments on the owner side, on the client side. We control everything. We change the storage plans. We change the lashing plans if needed. Okay. And then we travel for our cargos. Our surveyors were last year in Philippines, in Korea, in Salvador. So that's the added value service that we give. So it's not only the chartering activity, but also the technical part is very well developed.
Right. I think that's a very good sales point for you, because instead of just linking up the client with the ship owner, you also actually take a hands-on attitude. And everybody knows that seafarers from your region are capable. You got a lot of good surveyors in the region, and also you have ship owners that before had base in Rijeka, I know from the past. So that sounds good. How do you see the market in the future now? Do you feel that the ship owners are changing their policies and how they deal with brokers and chartering companies, or has anything changed recently, do you feel?
I mean, it's always a volatile, very volatile market with a lot of changes. The ship owners we worked 5 years ago frequently do not exist today. There are a lot of changes, a lot of new ventures. We, as a company focused on chartering and freight forwarding, we always have to follow the market, and we always have to give the client the best possible and most actual solution. So there are a lot of changes, and you just have to be informed about all the happenings, about the stability of owner, financial stability, about the new ventures, about the movements of employees within the owners. It's also very important. So reading the newspapers, reading Project Cargo Weekly, reading Heavy Lift magazine, all those things, it's very important.
Well, of course, I'm of the hope that you read Project Cargo Weekly first.
Absolutely. It's my priority.
Oh, yes. That's good to hear. Yes, now, but it's the same here in the media business. We also have to be alert, and we cannot keep on copying what everyone else is doing. We have to come up with own ideas. But one thing I'd like to also mention again about your partnership with Comarch. When you mentioned they can do seaworthy packing, is that something they can do Europe-wide? I mean, a project consists of many different suppliers in different countries. They are not limited only to stay in the Balkans to pack seaworthy. They can do everywhere, right?
Absolutely, yes. They have flying team, which is able to travel. So Comarch has three packing facilities, let's say, one in Croatia, one in Slovenia, and with their partners, one in Italy. Aside of that, as I said, they have a flying team which is able to travel anywhere within Europe and arrange the proper seaworthy packing. Just for example, last year we had cargoes that were brought back from US because of the bugs they found in the cases. Mm-hmm. So the US Customs and sanitary authorities, they ordered that cargo has to be shipped back to Europe. We didn't handle the sea freight to US, but we handled repacking and freight back to US. So it was done by Comarch team.
And I guess we don't know if the bugs were Democratic Party or Republican Party. Anyway, joke aside, at least the election is now over there. So let's hope that business with the US as a leader will soon start again. Concerning business in general and this irritating pandemic that is worldwide, has that affected your business also in chartering and forwarding?
No, so far we didn't see any bad influence of that pandemic. Actually, Liburnia, when I look at the numbers, we are 20% higher than last year, and we are very, very busy this year. With projects, it's always, let's say, delayed happening. So I cannot say that next year or in 2 years we will not see and we will not be affected by this present pandemic. So even though when talking to my clients, they are not able to travel as well as they used to travel, but they still have new contracts. So and they never stopped their production. So I don't see that something very bad will happen to us.
Okay, good to hear. Do you have any offices of your own located abroad, or are you currently member in some networks in order to have, let's say, a more global presence in that way?
Well, we are the members of CLC. Actually, we are the provider of chartering solutions to CLC network, and the Comarc is a member of Cross Ocean Network, plus CLC network. Liburnia is a member of GPLN, and since last year we are the member of a new OOG network.
Okay.
Actually, since this year, yes.
Okay, and that helps you to have a wider spread, I suppose, in many countries that are otherwise unreachable.
Plus, we have very strong relations. Okay, aside of the office in Breda that I mentioned, we have very strong relation with our agent in Egypt, which is covering for us African market, and who is allowed to represent Liburnia's brand in Africa.
Okay. Yes, we are going to have, we had some focus a couple of weeks ago with United Heavy Lift Magisa Lines also running services into Africa, and even SAL. It seems Africa is high on the target list for many ship owners at the moment. Do you also see an increased interest in the African market?
Yes. We constantly have requests for shipments to African market. Some of them we developed. Also within Africa, we did several shipments. So it's a booming market.
One of the final questions that I have, Marin, is in shipping, freight forwarding, chartering, do you find that it's difficult to find youngsters who are interested in this business nowadays? I mean, with all this online stuff and data and tech things, is shipping actually interesting for the youngsters? How is the view from your side in the Balkans?
Okay, we have Maritime University here in Rijeka. You've been there last year.
Yes, I remember. I recall. Yeah.
It's a very nice, very modern university. Liburnia is now a partner with that university on a project called Pandora, which is having the focus to bring the youngsters to the industry. And we have a lot of students on practice as well here in Liburnia. And for us, it's not a problem. Company has a good reputation, good name. Just now we are hiring a new person in the company. We have more than 200 candidates that approached us. So the thing is that youngsters have different mindset, and you have to appreciate that as well. They bring the new energy, they bring the new technology, the knowledge of new technology, and you cannot stay away from that. You just have to accept that and let them sometimes do the things on their own way, which is different to traditional way.
Yeah. Yes, I guess sometimes when you feel you know it all, you are awoken to the fact that you actually don't know it all, and they do have a point sometimes. That's a wake-up call, I guess, for all of us. Right. Concerning the Maritime University, that might actually be a good candidate for an interview sometime. If Project Cargo Weekly would like to know more about them and also spread that to the world, would you be able to link us up with the relevant person there?
Absolutely. It's a very, as I said, it's a very modern, good developed university. Aside of the economical part, they also bring the new seafarers to the shipping world. So that's also very nice potential in that respect.
Okay. Then the very final question before I say thank you to you, Marin. Ex-Yugoslavia consists of many states now in a peaceful environment, as far as we can see since some years now. I have a practical question. Do you all speak the same language? I mean, Serbia, Montenegro, Slovenia, Croatia. Do you all understand each other in ex-Yugoslavia with the same language, or is it very different when you communicate?
We don't speak the same language. The older generations, when we were part of Yugoslavia, all these countries, when we were part of Yugoslavia, Serbo-Croatian language was the main language, and all the old generations knew the language. New generations, since all the countries went independent, they speak their own language. So I don't understand Slovenian, but some of the older generations from Slovenia can speak Croatian language. With Serbia, Bosnia, and Croatia, we have common language. With a different dialect, but Slovenia and Montenegro has the same language. Slovenia and Macedonia, they speak different languages.
It's certainly an interesting region, and it's a place that is, when we sit here, I sit here in the north of Europe, I certainly sometimes am jealous about your location, but we'll have to see about that. Perhaps
on shipping. If you look at the shipping part, it's a very difficult region, and you really need to have a proper know-how. Adriatic is a deviation for all the ship owners. They need to have the sufficient cargoes to deviate in the Adriatic. So sometimes we have to do the miracle to combine different cargoes in order to attract the ship owner to enter into the Adriatic. It's out of the standard routes. There are not so many liner carriers, so it's a very difficult and challenging region to work.
Yeah, and of course, it's a very the country you're in is very famous from a tourist perspective. That must have taken a big hit with the COVID now, I suppose.
Yes, even though Croatia, on the first wave of COVID, we were very successful. We only had, I think we overall had in first wave, we had less than 100 cases in whole Croatia. So during the summer, we were one of the main regions to visit. But now in the second wave, we are hit, let's say, hard.
Yeah, let's hope that we get that vaccine as soon as possible, all of us, so we can meet again. And I would like to, as I say to all of my interviewees, we always prefer to meet up with a drink in hand and say hello to each other. That's Zoom is good and video is good, but of course, face-to-face is always better.
I miss that a lot.
Yeah, especially the drinks. But Marin, I want to thank you very much for providing input for this interesting time and interview here. Thank you very much.
Thank you both for inviting me for that. It's my pleasure, really.
You're welcome. And to our readers, listeners, viewers around the world, this was a great interview, I feel, with Mr. Marin Skufca, CEO and partner of Liburnia Maritime in Croatia, a most reliable partner in that region and also worldwide for chartering. Good friend of mine as well, and that never hurts, of course. So thank you very much, and stay tuned for further interviews from Project Cargo Weekly. Thank you.